Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutation to the elect and all the brothers pushing this work in sincerity and in truth. This is brother Thamine from GMS Toronto, coming at you with another video. Today's video, I'm going to be talking about the word Artemis, right? If you've been living under a rock for the last week or so, you would know. You wouldn't know, but for the ones that haven't been and paying attention, you would see that these Edomites allegedly try to, touch the moon, right? And the craft that they used, or the mission that they used, right? It's named Artemis. And when I looked the word up, right, which is, you can name it any other name on the planet Earth, right? But this is another reference that shows you that the same people are ruling again. The third beast is being referenced, but we are under the fourth beast, right? These are the same gods that these Edomites worship, and the ones that are in the know, those are the ones that carry out these missions to keep these deities alive, right? And have the people in confusion and have them worship the same gods ignorantly, right? Me saying that because when you look up Artemis and what it is, let me go before I go into that. People really don't. This is the information age. People will see a word like that and they won't look it up, right? Anytime I see anything, any project like this, they always have a specific name for them. They don't just come out of the woodwork and say, "Oh, let me just name this this thing glass bottle," right? Or a pen or a vehicle. They don't do that. They've carefully planned these names out, and they're all named after deities. Okay. Let me see what this is named after. Artemis, right? Let's see what Artemis says, right? Artemis. It's an ancient goddess, right? It's a Greek goddess, and when you go into it, and I'm gonna get to the etymology of the word, right? That's what it looks like: a woman with a stag on her side and the bow and arrow in the sheath, right? And what does that got to do with these guys going on in the outer space? Astronaut described their lunar voyage as surreal and profound ahead of Earth. Okay. It says the crew will endure 3,000 degrees on re-entered hypersonic expert explained, which is all bullshit. No one's believing that you guys going to the moon. Okay, no one believed that because the Lord set bounds that you can't pass, man. Right? Everyone knows this is a green screen, and you can see how they're acting, right? And you go in the comments, you can see what they're saying. Oh, how come they're if this is fake, how come they're laying down like that in the air? I'm like, listen, they made so many movies about people being in space. This is just another project, a movie set, right? In my opinion, okay? Because we're dealing with the devil, the deceiver, right? Anyways, let's get to the etymology of the word, right? It says here uncertain. Etymology is uncertain or likely pro-Greek, right? Meaning connection safe, butcher, a bear related to ancient cults, right? I dropped down to this and I clicked on Wikipedia and brought me to this, right? Ancient Greek religion, mythology, Artemis, the goddess of hunting, right? Wildlife, the wilderness, wild animals, transition, right? Nature, vegetation, childbirth or care of children, and chastity. She was often said to roam the forest and mountains attended by an entourage of nymphs. The goddess Diana is her Roman equivalent. All right. So now we get down to business, right? Says here equivalent to where is it? Where is it? Transition. So what are we transitioning to right now? We're transitioning from winter into spring, right? And it's not a coincidence that they send this mission out in the ending of March, beginning of April, right? Because they know to themselves that this is the new year, right? This everyone knows that the new year doesn't start in December. It starts in March, so-called March, April, around that time, right? When everything is new again, right? Springtime. It's not a coincidence that this is named after the goddess that represents transition or nature. Which this is when you get the nature part of the seasons, right? Everything is new. Vegetation is new, right? It's where you plant your crops. It's the time. So in the scriptures, it talks about Diana, right? It says here the goddess Diana is her Roman equivalent. So we're dealing with Romans and Greeks here. This is who we're dealing with. The same people that you read about in the time of the Maccabees and in the time of our Lord, right? These are the same gods that they're back here worshiping. Type in Diana, all right? Diana of Ephesus, right? The Ephesians were known for this. Diana is a goddess in Roman religion, primarily considered as patroness or of the countryside, nature, hunters, wildlife, childbirth, etc. Right? The night and the moon. She is equated with the Greek goddess Artemis, right? Right, and observed much of Artemis mythology early in Roman history, including the birth on the island of Delos, which these are all Greek mythology anyways. Parents to Jupiter and Latona, and the twin brother Apollo. This is all, all nonsense, and you can go into Apollo Creed, right? Anyways, Diana was worshipped in the Israelites were a big fan of Diana of Ephesus. I'm actually, you know what? Let's get right to the point because I'm on my break. I can't really go too deep into it. This is Acts 19, right? And 24. For a certain man named Demetrius, a silversmith, which where's that? All right. Yep. Demetrius, the silversmith who made silver shrines for Diana, right? This is the same goddess we're talking about. And this is the same spaceship that these people so-called using going out into the firmament, into the heavens, right? Called Artemis, which is equivalent to Diana, right? So this is heavily, they're heavily under the woman worship, right? That what's the word I'm looking for? The mother goddess worship, okay? Brought no small gain unto the craftsman, right? So he was a what's the word I'm looking for again? It's in Isaiah the 3rd chapter. He's an artificer, okay? That's who he is. Whom he called together with the workmen of his of like occupation and said, sirs, you know that by this craft we have our help, we have our wealth, right? Moreover, you see and hear that not alone at Ephesus, but almost throughout all Asia, this Paul hath persuaded and turned away much people, saying that they be no gods which are made with hands. Right? So Paul was taking away his money, and he didn't like that. Right? Because they know that these gods weren't real. These Edomites know that these mythological gods aren't real. Right? But they have a problem when we call upon Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and we're telling our people, hey, get away from all that. And, to say all that, I say all that to say this. I'm getting at Easter, okay? That's what I'm getting at. These people worship all these deities, and they might not have you worship these deities outright, but they'll have equivalents to that, right? They'll mix your religion with these deities. And I'll get right to Diana because I'm going to get a picture of what Diana looked like. And we're going to get right into Easter, right? Crafted danger, Salakia, where am I? So that not only this our craft is in danger to be set at naught, but also that the temple of the great goddess Diana should be despised and her magnificence should be destroyed, whom all Asia and the world worship, right? And when they heard these sayings, they were full of wrath and cried out, saying, Great is Diana of the Ephesians, right? And the whole city was filled with confusion, and having caught Gaius and Aristarchus, men of Macedonia, Paul's companions in travel, they rushed with one accord into the theater. And when Paul would have entered in unto the people, the disciples suffered him not. Right? So they put hands on those men. Right? And this is the same thing that we're gonna have to go through, because those men was direct followers of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And they went through these things, and we're doing the same thing, preaching the same thing, right? Against the same gods and against the same people that's coming back. So they're gonna put hands on us, right? The servant is not greater than the master. That's what Yahushua said. And certain of the chief of Asia, which were his friends, sent unto him, desiring him that he would not adventure himself into the theater, right? Some therefore cried one thing, and some another, for the assembly was confused, and the more part knew not wherefore they come together. And they drew Alexander out of the multitude, the Jews putting him forward, and Alexander beckoned with the hand, and would have made his defense unto the people. But when they knew that he was an Israelite, right, all which one voice about the space of 2 hours cried out, Great is Diana of Ephesus, right? And let's see what Diana of Ephesus looks like. So this is Diana of Ephesus, right? A so-called black deity. And you see what she has on her? Which represents rebirth, right? These are eggs. Right? These are all eggs. You can see that they're teats also, but these are eggs. This is what they worshipped. This is what the Israelites were into back then. The mother goddess worship, okay? That's what they were into. They'll knock off the nose because this is a so-called black woman, right? Anyways, when you go into Easter bunnies, so this is what they do. They mix the Passover, which they give you, is supposed to be Pesach. So they give you Easter, right? Which goes back to Ishtar also. But Diana of Ephesus, this is, they mixed the scriptures with these deities, and this is how they got the pagan to follow Christianity at the end of the day. And you guys are falling right back into the same thing, right? Which represents sex, rebirth, new life, right? Let's see, what does a bunny represent? Represents an Easter. Let's see. Easter bunny's folkloric rabbit-shaped figure that symbolizes spring, fertility, and new life, aka transition, right? Acting as a gift bringer of candy and eggs, children on Easter, right? Originating from German Lutheran traditions as a judge of children behavior, right? Similar to Santa Claus. So this is what we're dealing with, man, right? And people might see this as in like, oh, it's just fun for the children. It's not just fun for the children, because this is how they get you to sin. This is how they get your children to be corrupted, right? By following their traditions and their ways and their gods. They don't have to put the real goddess and gods and goddesses that they're worshiping. But in order to get you and to give you a soft landing, they just give you a piece of it, right? And you run with it, and you pretty much indoctrinate your children, while these fucking nerds, while these nerds here, here we are. Well, while these nerds, these ones right here that you see here, they go for the real thing, right? They have their tattoos that represents what they're really about, right? All these people that you see here, they're all Masons. They're all devil worshippers. They don't believe in Yahweh Shemel Shai, that's for sure, right? The men of the Lord won't be going out in the outer space like this, okay? Mark Kelly and all these guys, they all represent one thing, and it's the left hand side, okay? There's nothing new under the sun. Artemis equals to Diana, right? Diana of Ephesus equals to Easter bunnies, right? They all represent the same thing. Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is nothing new under the sun, including all these fake gods and goddesses, man, right? There's nothing new, right? There's nothing that's in this earth that you're going to say, oh, this is definitely new. No, it's not. It has already been done. So we're back here recycling the same thing, same people, same spirits, right? Same gods, until Yahweh Shai return, man. Yahweh Shemel Shai. That's who the real men of the Lord are gonna worship in these last days. Not no fucking bunny with eggs, or no Artemis, or no Diana of Ephesus. Shalom.